Hello, I'm James Curtis with a special Mom's edition of the Michael Jackson trial. From the mothers of several accusers to the mother of Michael Jackson's own children, moms have provided some of the most dramatic and contradictory testimony thus far. Tonight, we'll revisit exactly what they said and why the mothers of Neverland may indeed determine whether or not Michael Jackson goes to prison. Wade Robson, now a choreographer, staged dance moves for NSYNC and Britney Spears. His mother scored one for the defense when she took the stand to explain exactly why she entrusted the King of Pop to share a bed with her young son. Here's what she told the jurors according to the courtroom transcripts.
Ever see anything inappropriate happen at Neverland?
Never.
Okay. When's the last time you spoke to Michael Jackson?
2 weeks ago, we visited his children at Neverland.
Okay. And do you consider yourselves friends of the family of Mr. Jackson?
We consider us very good friends, if not family.
Okay. Did Mr. Jackson ever use the word family to describe you and your children?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever have any problem with that?
Never.
Ever seen Mr. Jackson hug your children?
Mr. Jackson hugs everyone.
On cross-examination, District Attorney Tom Sneddon questions whether or not this mom knew exactly where her children were sleeping at Neverland.
Now, did you know that your son and daughter spent the night with Mr. Jackson in his bed?
They did not.
They did not?
They slept on the mezzanine level.
That's your belief?
That's what they had told me.
So that if your son testified here in trial yesterday that he slept in the same bed with Michael Jackson with his sister, that would be inconsistent with what he told you before?
That was the second night.
I'm asking you the first night.
Well, that's what I've been told by my daughter and my son was the first night they slept on the mezzanine level.
Next, a well-meaning mother or a stereotypical stage mom.
You weren't thinking that Mr. Jackson could help propel your son in an entertainment career?
That was not my motive.
I'm not trying to
Yes, you are.
demean your motives. No, I'm not, ma'am. I'm asking a simple question. Did you, in your mind, think that by having a friendship and a connection with Mr. Jackson, that could help promote your son's career?
I can't answer that because I don't think that you're trying to make me say that was my basis for our friendship, and that's not true.
Move to strike as non-responsive.
Stricken.
As the testimony continues, Joy Robson recalls a discussion that she had with another Neverland mom named June. Her son was at the heart of the 1993 case, which never went to trial.
Okay. Do you recall a conversation in which you told June that someday Jordan was going to be replaced by another one of Michael Jackson's friends?
Yes.
And you referred to these people as special friends, correct?
Well, according to my transcript, yes.
You don't ever remember using that phrase now?
No.
But you did use it in your transcript back in 1993?
Yes.
And in a conversation you told June that with these special friends, that when Mr. Jackson moves on to the next special friend, that it has a tremendous emotional impact on the children when they're no longer the favorite, correct?
As does everybody when they lose a friend.
Now, defense attorney Tom Mesereau gets 3 final questions.
Did you ever lose your trust in Michael Jackson during any point in time that your son was with him?
Never.
Did Mr. Jackson ever do anything that made you suspicious about his behavior toward your son, Wade?
Never.
Did Mr. Jackson ever do anything that made you suspicious about his behavior toward your daughter?
Never.
As we continue, a former Jackson housekeeper whose son played at Neverland recalls a play date involving Michael and an underage guest who she believes was Wade Robson.
Okay. Tell us what you heard when you first walked in the room.
Laughing.
Okay.
And playing around.
Okay, and what did you do?
I came in and first I thought that they were playing in the bathtub, jacuzzi, and I didn't see them. And then I thought they were outside, playing outside the house. I mean, in his garden. And I walked and they were in the shower.
And what did you see?
And I hear this playing around. That's where he was taking a shower, I guess.
Okay.
With little Wade.
What did you see? Tell me what you saw.
What I saw, I just saw some clothes on the floor.
You saw clothes on the floor in the bathroom or in the bedroom?
No, in the shower. By the shower.
By the shower. What clothing did you see on the floor?
Underwear.
Underwear? Did you see more than one figure?
Yeah.
All right. Did you recognize either of the figures that you saw?
Mr. Jackson.
All right.
And the little kid.
Was one figure larger than the other?
Yeah.
Was the second figure the size of Wade Robeson?
Yeah. Yes.
What did you do at that point?
That he was going to get mad or...
Objection, non-responsive.
Sustained.
Move to strike.
What did you do at the time that you saw Mr. Jackson and Wade Robeson in the shower? What did you do then?
I was going to talk to them, but then I thought, no, I better not, so I just went back.
Moving on, it gets more personal when the former housekeeper sees her own son sitting with the King of Pop.
Just tell us what you saw with Jason.
Well, he was sitting on his lap.
Okay. And what concerned you?
And I walked in, and he was sitting on his lap, and Mr. Jackson was just reclining to the back.
Reclining?
Reclining to the back.
Okay.
And having my son in his lap.
And where was Jason positioned on his lap?
His legs.
Okay. And what did you do?
I just told my son to get out. And he was. I remember he say, no, I'm fine.
Objection, non-responsive. Move to strike.
You told your son to get out?
Just a moment. Stricken.
You told your son to get out?
Yeah.
Did he do so?
No.
What did you do then?
I think I pushed him, and, he was some kind of reading a book or coloring, and Mr. Jackson say, I want him to read, or I'm reading a story, something like that.
Did you take your son off of his lap?
Yeah. Yes.
As defense attorney Tom Mesro takes over, he tries to get the former maid to come clean about the shower scene.
And you think you saw Mr. Jackson in a shower with Mr. Robeson one time, right?
Yes.
But you said the shower was fogged up and you couldn't really see, right?
I saw the figure.
You saw the figure and you heard a lot of laughing, right?
Yeah.
And you thought they were playing, right?
Yes.
In your deposition, you said under oath you couldn't tell whether they were touching each other or not, right?
Yeah.
And in the deposition, you said under oath that all you could see was a shadow, right?
Yeah.
Was that the truth?
A shadow, an image, yeah.
That's all you could see?
Yeah.
In the shower, correct?
I hear two voices.
You heard giggling and laughing, right?
Yeah.
And all you could see was a shadow through the glass?
The glass, yes.
And that's because the glass was fogged up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You only saw one person in the shower, right?
I saw him in the shower and the little kid.
But in your deposition, you said you could only see one person, but you heard giggling, right?
Yeah, but I hear two people.
You heard two people. You could only see one through the glass, right?
Mostly, yeah, mostly.
When we return, we've heard the current accuser's mom called a victim, a grifter, and even Janet from another planet. You be the judge. And is it Jackson ex-wife number 2 to the rescue? Stay with us.
The reenactments and commentary in this program may contain frank talk of a sexual nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back. Next, the mother of Michael Jackson's 1993 accuser describes a tearful plea from the King of Pop. Here's how she responded to questions from District Attorney Tom Sneddon according to the courtroom transcripts.
Now, at that point in time, did Mr. Jackson tell you why he was upset or crying?
Yes.
All right, tell the jury what he said.
He said, "You don't trust me? We're a family. Why are you doing this? Why are you not allowing Jordy to be with me?" And I said, "He is with you." He said, "But my bedroom, why not in my bedroom? We fall asleep, the kids have fun, boys..."
Objection, non-responsive, narrative.
Narrative, sustained.
All right. Tell us what Mr. Jackson said, that he wanted your son to sleep with him in his bed, what you said to Mr. Jackson.
What I said to Michael was, this is not anything that I want. This is not right. Jordy should be able to do what he wants to do. He should be able to fall asleep where he wants to fall asleep.
Is this you talking or Mr. Jackson speaking?
I was saying this, and Michael was trembling and saying, "We're family. Jordy is having fun. Why can't he sleep in my bed? There's nothing wrong. There's nothing going on. Don't you trust me?"
To quote from another mom, Debbie Rowe, who we'll hear from in just a minute, was there any quid pro quo about the sleeping arrangements in Sin City?
Did you at some point in time relent and allow your son to sleep with Michael Jackson in his bedroom?
Yes, I did.
And was it after that discussion on that night?
Yes,
Is that the first occasion?
correct.
When you were in Las Vegas, do you remember how many nights in Las Vegas that your son Jordan slept with the defendant, Michael Jackson, in Michael Jackson's room?
I would say 2 occasions.
Now, at some point in time after you had agreed to let your son Jordan sleep with Mr. Jackson, were you the recipient of a gift from Mr. Jackson?
Yes, I was.
Would you describe that to the jury?
It was a gold bracelet, and it was given to me by Michael.
And you say a gold bracelet. Had you seen that gold bracelet in a shop of some kind before?
I had seen it before, yes.
And the brand name of that bracelet?
Cartier.
Was it expensive to your knowledge?
Oh, yes, it was.
When was it you received this gift in relationship to having agreed to allow your son to sleep in bed with Mr. Jackson?
I think it was the next evening when we were attending a show, a magic show by David Copperfield.
Next, Michael makes himself at home.
And during this time, did Mr. Jackson ever spend the night at your residence?
Yes, he did.
And do you recall on how many occasions Mr. Jackson spent the night at your residence?
I would say more than 30 times.
And were some of those occasions on consecutive days or nights?
Yes.
And how long consecutively do you think that that occurred?
Oh, it could be a week or 2 at a time.
Where did Mr. Jackson stay in the house?
In Jordan's bedroom.
Did you notice any change in your son,
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
What was the nature of that change?
Well, he started dressing like Michael. He started acting withdrawn, sort of smart-alecky, not as sweet as he normally was, and withdrawn. He just didn't want to be with us, Lily and I.
Had you always been close prior to that?
Extremely close.
Now, when Jordy's mom finally tried to reclaim her son, had she lost him forever?
Well, what did Mr. Jackson say about the situation?
Why can't we be a family? Why are you objecting to Jordy staying with me? Why can't we be a family? Why don't you trust me? He was upset that I wanted my son back, that I didn't like the situation. It was getting out of hand.
Now, you've told the ladies and gentlemen of the jury that Mr. Jackson had given you a bracelet at one point in time and that you had gone shopping with Mr. Jackson on his credit card in Monte Carlo. Were there any other occasions when Mr. Jackson gave you gifts?
Yes.
What else did he give you?
He also gave me jewelry.
And how old is Jordy now?
He's 25 years old.
Can I ask you when you last spoke to him?
11 years ago.
Now, defense attorney Tom Mesro wonders what came first, a trip to the cops or a trip to the lawyer.
And you contacted Department of Children's Services after first talking to a lawyer, true?
Not correct.
In fact, you personally never called the police department ever about anything involving Mr. Jackson, true?
True.
When did you first hire Gloria Allred?
After we spoke to the district attorney.
When did you first hire Larry Feldman?
After the police were notified, Department of Children's Services and Lauren Weiss, the district attorney.
Your strategy was to negotiate a settlement before ever contacting law enforcement, true?
No strategy, sorry.
And one of the levers you were trying to hang over Mr. Jackson was bad publicity if he didn't pay, right?
Incorrect.
Moving on. Now we hear from Janet, the mother of the current accuser, Gavin. Janet claims she saw a hair-raising scene involving her son on a flight back to California from Miami, Florida.
Now, at some time while you were on that plane, did you see an event that caused you concern?
Yes.
What did you see?
Okay. Please don't judge me.
If you could, just answer the question. Tell us what it was that you saw.
Please don't judge me. At that time, I hadn't slept for so long. And when everybody had fallen asleep, and it was hours into the flight, I hadn't gotten up. And I figured this was my chance to look and see what was going on back there. So I got up And that's when I saw Michael licking Gavin's head. I thought it was me. I thought I was seeing things. I thought it was me. When we got off the airplane, I asked my son, I asked him, "Are you okay?" And he said, "I'm okay." And that was it.
Now, Assistant District Attorney Ron Zonin questions the accuser's mother about that rebuttal video. Now, was it from the heart or was it totally scripted? And if it was scripted, who were the authors? Here's what she said according to the courtroom transcripts.
Let's start with Frank. Tell us what exactly it was that Frank wanted you to say in this video.
What I got in trouble for, or what I actually ended up saying?
No. Tell us in advance of doing this video. What was it that Frank wanted you to say on this video?
That he's a wonderful father.
Did he use the word father?
Yes. Basically, in summary, that he's a wonderful father.
Now, in regard to his own children or in regards to your children?
To my children.
Did you feel that that statement was accurate?
I was confused. I was confused and I was sad at that moment.
What was your confusion?
Well, because as things evolved, I ended up finding out who were the bad guys.
Let's go back. These are things that Vinny specifically told you?
Yes.
Let's start with the first one. What did he say about references to God?
Okay. I was supposed to say that Michael healed Gavin.
And did you not say that?
I did not say it exactly like they wanted me to. Instead, I said, Dieter had also presented to me to say, via God's grace. Because I was no, it's God who healed Gavin and not Michael healed Gavin. God did. And so then I was supposed to say that sentence plus them.
Now, if your kid stayed at a strange place for the first time, would you go to bed without knowing where they would sleep?
So, as far as you know, the first night you were there, your sons were staying somewhere in the main house, but you didn't know where, right?
This is correct.
And you assumed that David knew where. Is that correct?
I assumed that children stay with children. That's what I assumed.
Did you see your sons the next day?
Yes.
Did you ask them where they had stayed that evening?
No, I didn't. They had told me that they had played, and that was good.
Did you then stay at Neverland a second night?
I think so, yes. Yes.
And was it your belief that your sons stayed in the main house that night?
Yes, I did.
Did you see them the next morning?
Yes.
Did you ask them where they had spent the evening?
No, I didn't. Now I know a lot of things. Now I know.
Objection. Non-responsive.
Sustained.
When we return, last but far from least, the mother of Michael Jackson's children gets her day in court. A shining witness for the defense or a principal player for the prosecution. Stay with us.
The reenactments and commentary in this program may contain frank talk of a sexual nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome back. The next mom we're going to hear from probably has the most to gain and to lose when it comes to the King of Pop. Under questioning by Assistant District Attorney Ron Zonin, former Mrs. Jackson number 2, Debbie Rowe, explains why she gave the King of Pop sole custody of their 2 children. Here's what the jurors heard according to the courtroom transcripts.
At some point in time, did you voluntarily agree to give up parental rights as to those 2 children?
Yes.
And when was that? Can you tell us?
I believe 2001.
And why did you do that?
The visitations were not comfortable. We were hooked up at a hotel. I was, when I would bring things to do, finger painting, coloring, or whatever, the nanny was always very concerned with the children getting dirty. I would bring T-shirts or something to put over their clothes. And the environment was very sterile. It wasn't a quality relationship.
At some point in time, when was the last time that you saw the 2 children?
2.5, 3 years ago. I'm not sure. I don't remember the dates.
So, was it Michael or was it his associates who kept Debbie Rowe from seeing her kids? Here's how she explained it according to the courtroom transcripts.
Who do you believe is responsible for your not being able to see the children?
Objection. Relevance. Foundation.
Overruled.
You can answer the question.
He's their father. Ultimately, it's his decision. I don't want to believe that. I want to believe that it's other people. I want to believe it's Mark Schaffel threatening him that I want to take the children. Things like that.
Next, Rowe tells defense attorney Tom Mesereau about Michael Jackson's different personalities.
In that interview, what kind of a person did you say Michael was?
Generous to a fault, giving and kind.
Anything else do you recall saying?
Good father, great with kids, put other people ahead of him, things like that.
If you can, do you remember anything else you said about Michael?
He's a brilliant businessman. There's different Michaels. There's like my Michael.
Do you want some water?
And the Michael that everyone else sees.
And that would be the public Michael.
Yes.
That would be Michael the entertainer, right?
Michael the entertainer, yeah.
Which moms do you believe? Ultimately, it's of course up to this jury to decide as the case continues to unfold. Can the accuser's mom, Janet, be believed? Did Debbie Rowe ambush the prosecution just to get more visitation with her kids? And remember, Home Alone star Macaulay Culkin? He's expected on the witness stand this week. Be sure to join me and our panel of legal experts tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. for E's exclusive and unique coverage of the Michael Jackson trial only on E!